Hey, good afternoon, Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Thanks for joining me today, guys, on the virtual Lunch and Learn, where we talk about digital marketing strategies and tactics to grow your business. So today, I came across a very interesting article on Ad Age and prompted me to think about many of the things that we've talked about on the video podcast series when it comes to digital marketing, the consumer journey, your marketing funnel, and how all of that works together. So today we're going to talk about the consumer disruption that's happening in our industry and in our society today. At the end of the day, we as consumers are deciding how we want to buy products and services. For instance, we may see an ad on a website or in social media. We click on it, we go to the website, we look around, we check out the product. We may then decide, hey, I see that product's available at a store near me. And so I go to the store and touch it, feel it, decide I like it, and buy it. So the problem that I think this disruption of I got all the way there online and then ultimately I went and bought it. Now, the truth could be said of, if your business does not offer a brick and mortar, let's say you have, products that are drop shipped and your business is strictly online, then that disruption model, doesn't look quite like it does for a brand that has a brick and mortar store where ultimately the consumer has to come and make that purchase decision. But here are the three challenges that companies and brands are facing right now because of this consumer disruption when it comes to the social web and the internet of today. Number one is really understanding what it means to create a cross-channel brand experience, right? Because many of us, we have all types of different platforms that we go on. You might have a 24-year-old who is active on Snapchat and Instagram, but has never even created a Facebook account. Or you might have a 39-year-old that has email and Facebook and likes Instagram, but never goes on Snapchat. You could have a 55-year-old male or female who has Facebook, who is on YouTube constantly, and also checks out LinkedIn. So again, it's different ages, and it doesn't mean that all 20-somethings are off Facebook now. Not the case. So I was just using those for an example. But what you need to understand is, I think it's ironic that brands think, oh, well, we're not on Twitter because we're not a sports company or we're not an entertainment company. So, it doesn't really fit our mix. I really think that's short-sighted, because whether that company likes it or not, their users, their clients, their prospects, they use all of the platforms. And so there's been a lot of discussion about, should I be on this platform or should I not be on this platform? And the fact of the matter is, you should be aware of cross-channel brand experience. And what that means is you need to work together to make sure that your messaging and is consistent, right? You need to have that same value proposition, but the way you present that material needs to be contextual, right? The creative needs to be contextual. It needs to speak to the 24-year-old or the 39-year-old or the 55-year-old, the male versus female. All the different buying motivations have to be contextual, and then have to understand the channel. So you may only have 15 to 20 seconds in a YouTube pre-roll ad to tell me your story, to meet me, the 48-year-old male who you're trying to get me to buy your button-up dress shirt or whatever the product may be. You may only have certain amount of characters, on a tweet. Obviously, they have expanded characters for tweets, but you get the point. You need. We consume content, no matter what the platform is. We consume content visually. We watch it. We listen to it, audio, and we read it, written word. So you have to have multi-format, contextual, creative, that's mapped out with a consistent message where you are presenting your value proposition to that prospect. So number two would be that you're going to need to have a 360 view of your client, of your the people who do business with you. And what I mean by that is a combination of your own data, which is thought of as first-party data, and you might have a CRM system, a customer relationship management system, where you have that information of what they purchased, when they became a customer, where they live, how much money they've spent. That's your own data. But then you need to have and be able to lay over the top of that any advertising interaction, right? Your digital ad interaction that you might have been able to track through those tools, as well as online and offline information, plus third-party data. So that's everything, right? So you need to have all of that and be able to look through it. The problem is right now, as pointed out in the article, for the most part, those data groups have been separated. They've been siloed. So you got your CRM information over here, you got your ad platform information over here, you got your third-party information, with those third-party companies. Could be, banking and financial, or it could be, social media, whatever the third party is. The idea is, how can you layer all of those, on top of each other, and then be able to look at that information? Because when you do that, what you're able to gain insight from and have that 360 view is really understand who your customer is, what their buying and decision traits are, and then what is their behavior on the web, online, offline, understanding those behaviors. So to be able to do that is going to be something that's going to be a challenge for us as we as marketers and as brands have to respond to this consumer disruption. Now, number three is mapping that consumer journey. We've talked about in previous articles, and if you haven't listened to the series we did on the digital marketing funnel, I definitely want to encourage you to go check that episode out. A couple of episodes that build on that, but really understanding that process, because when you can gain insight from all of this information, from what's happening in the digital ad space as that client moves through the education phase and the awareness stage, and then into the consideration stage, and then into the conversion stage, and then into loyalty, and then advocacy. So they're going to have content that they're going to consume, which is going to have data behind it, and you can map that to the profile within your data. Then that really allows you to see the big picture, right? So if they open an email, or if they respond to an ad, and again, we've got all kinds of incredible data from IP addresses. So we can have geo tags, and we can have these markers where we can literally see, like, you, the person, got the ad and you came into the store. That technology is available. The problem is, many times that information is separated. Now, it's interesting, the writer of this article in Ad Age was Oracle, and so no wonder that they're creating this sort of picture of all of this data that's disconnected. And of course, they have a product. But I think right now, for businesses who are like, wow, Oracle, they're too big for me. I don't know if I can afford that. Well, that's not the issue. Of affordability is not the problem. The issue that brands and companies and marketers that we need to understand is, this is the world we live in, right? The consumer world we live in has changed in just the last 5 years. And we need to understand that, and we need to make sure we leverage it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops. Check you guys tomorrow.